So here we are back at Wilton's on the third day of this wonderful celebration for the British Music Hall Society's 50th anniversary. And I'm really thrilled to be holding in my hand the famous pink sheet, which means that we are talking about the Players Theatre, which sadly is no longer underneath the arches at Charing Cross, but goes on strong through the Players Theatre Company. Some of the performers have given us the most wonderful show this afternoon, and I just wanted to have a little chat with you all to say, first of all, as a personal thank you for flying the flag and continuing to keep things going, but also just to hear a little bit about your lives and the fact that music hall means such a lot to you. And I'm going to hand over to Helen first of all. Helen and I worked together first about over 20 years ago, and she has just celebrated 25 years. Indeed, I think it's your 26th year performing at the Watermill, Newbury, where I also happen to get married. There's another personal connection. And Helen, what is it about music hall that keeps you going after all this time?
Well, thanks, Dorcas. It's all about audience participation, I think, and it's actually being there in a live theatre, and particularly at Wilton's, where this is just steeped in history of music hall and variety, and it's just been a joy to play it. We all agree that, of course. And I had a lot of lovely years, not only as a performer at the old Players Theatre underneath the arches at Charing Cross, but also to direct quite a few of the shows there. And it's been a pleasure to be at the Watermill doing the shows for the last 26 years and working with some of the greats in music hall, of course, dear old Roy Hard and Barry Cryer, and lots of the old stars I've worked with throughout 20 or 30 years of doing music hall. And as you said, we go back a long way, and we're trying to keep on through Michelle here the tradition of music hall with the Players Theatre Company, and Peter and I go back a long way. We're together at the City Varieties Leeds, and it's been a joy to just do this old traditional music hall style entertainment where we involve everybody. You can join in and sing. It goes back to the having a pint and a pie at the pub and joining in with all the artists. So thanks for having us, and may the British Music Hall continue to go from strength to strength.
Thank you very much. And in fact, you brought up something really interesting there, which is there are so many wonderful performers who've performed for years and years, but it's lovely to see two new faces for me, because I've been out of it for a while. And also we were just talking about the fact that some of these songs, you know, they're reincarnated, but once you take on a song, it becomes your own, and every individual artist brings something new to it. So I thought I should hand to Jane, because she sang one of my favourites today, Oh Antonio, just to hear a little bit about how you got into music hall.
Well, to be honest, through my friend here, Michelle, she's the one that introduced me this time round. So I've known Michelle since I was, how old were we? 8. So yeah, we did amateur stuff together. So, and then we both went into the business. And I also, when I was very young, I went to Sylvia Young's when I was 12. And then I did lots of music hall then with Ian Liston and Peter John himself. I was only 12, but I'm only 18 now, so it wasn't that long ago. But so that's how I know all the songs, and I'm being introduced to a few new songs as well, but that's how I know all of them really. So it's been lovely for me to kind of get back into this style of theatre again, and wonderful for me to come here today. It's the first time I've been here and the first time I've performed here, so it's been brilliant.
Thank you very much. I think, again, one of the brilliant things about being involved in somewhere like the Players, which you talked about, Helen, is the fact that you get to learn from the greats. You know, it was an enormous privilege for me as a young actress to learn from people like Johnny Rutland, Stella Murray, and Sheila Burnett. And, you just learnt your craft in a way that isn't... And you don't get a chance to do that very often nowadays. Talking of which, I want to hand over to Peter John, because I think already in a little straw poll that I've done front of house, we have seen a really seminal performance here this afternoon. I don't think I've ever seen My Old Man done in quite such a moving and affecting way. And also, it took us back 100 years. We just whistle back. I mean, we could have been, what's lovely about this afternoon's performance is we've seen quite a lot of contemporary stuff. I think Matt, with his wonderful magic act, and I'm sorry he's had to go, brings something quite contemporary, but absolutely in the true tradition of music hall, whereas Peter this afternoon gave us such an amazing slice of life in the East End. I felt that Wilton's was kind of recognising something from its past. So Peter, what was the inspiration behind that particular little bit of theatre?
Well, I've always I've greatly enjoyed, as everybody else's, My Old Man Said, Follow the Van, but it occurred to me that it's usually done as a tribute to Mari Lloyd, with The Boy I Love Is Up in the Gallery, I Would Take My Morning Promenade, and sung in an upbeat kind of My Old Man Said, which is not what the number is. I suppose it's training as an actor. We'll go back to the script. And it's actually quite sad, because she's lost her home and what it says. And I thought, oh, try and get that work and put the gags in, and that's how I tried to do it. I think all of us, when we do musical, we try perhaps to give a new twist to the things without getting away from what the original intention of the number was. Talking about, we were about the tradition of music hall, some of us started many, many years ago. I mean, I don't mind telling you all the time, 35, and at a place called the Pinder of Wakefield, run by a lady called Aileen Waits, and that was like fortnightly rep, except that it was music hall. There was a different music hall show every fortnight, and we did our stuff. And then we've all gone our separate ways, ended up at the Players or wherever it may be, and the tradition is passed in and that, passed on. And it's wonderful that we've landed up, and let's hope we will in the future, at this wonderful place, Wilton's, which goes back before almost any of the other music halls. And it's been great to be here and had a wonderful time.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to quickly go over to Michael, who again I've known for a long time, because Michael's a classic example of how brilliant it is with music hall that you have your own numbers and you can pick them up and come along and perform, because he's actually here on his day off, bless him, because he's touring at the moment. Do you want to just quickly tell us what you're doing when you're not doing music hall?
Yeah, I'm in a production of Seven Brides for Seven Brothers, playing the preacher, hence the beard. And we opened in Bromley last week, and we tour until next May, believe it or not, with a break over Christmas for Panto, and I'm in Tunbridge Wells playing the King in Jack and the Beanstalk. So that's what I'm doing at the moment, and yeah, this is my day off. Off to Cardiff next week.
Proper jobbing actor.
Yeah.
Quickly, I want to go over to Robert, who was our wonderful chair tonight, who I was just saying it was so lovely for me after all this time to hear that wonderful script. There's a great tradition of the chairman with this, which I think Leonard Sachs brought into being through the good old days. But again, I don't know if you want to give us a little flavour of that on the film.
Oh, I see. Yes, I see what you mean. Yes. Oh, right. Yes. The chairman that we have today is largely the invention of Leonard Sachs, who was co-founder of the Players Theatre Club in 1936, 1937. And all he did was, he was South African, which is very interesting for somebody who invented something so English and British as the music hall. And he just took all the grandiose comments made by managers on the posters, all the alliteration and all the verbosity from that. So I would say that I am presiding over a phantasmagoria of fun-filled frolics and flights of fancy. Or I would say that a number is I've gone completely blank now. But you get the idea. Alliteration is the thing. But being a chairman is really what you make of it. And somebody gave me a note, David Kelsey, director David Kelsey, remember him? He said, the greatest note he ever gave me, he said, you've just got to remember, it's your party. And that's how I approach it, really. So, yeah.
Well, it was a great party this afternoon, and I just wanted to end by passing over to Michelle, who is responsible for keeping the party going. She's a party girl. And are we off?
I'm so sorry, but I am interrupting here because I can't actually stop myself. I would just like to say that Peter here, on Friday, he broke the bank at Monte Carlo in inimitable style. Yesterday, he gave us the fairy who was shunned for being 40, although to be honest, she looked as her 40th birthday was a long, long time ago. And today, his interpretation of My Old Man had us rolling with laughter and crying. And it has been an absolute joy to have you and your craft on that stage, Peter.
Now available for children's parties.
I just wanted to say that because everybody, the building at the moment is just sort of a buzz with people going, did you see that bloke who just did My Old Man? Who is he? And I just wanted to point that out. Can we have a little round of applause, please? Applause for Peter. Applause, pause. More. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I just from one Michelle to the other Michelle? I don't know if you're on. saying the light doesn't look like it's on. Sorry, very professional here. Last word goes to you, because you're the lady who's carrying the torch and keeping the old players going, and thank you very much. So just one last thing from you, just to say why it is that you got involved.
Thank you. Well, it was actually Doreen Hermitage, the chairman of the British Musical Society, who cast me in Cinderella in 1995 at the Players Theatre, and it meant so much to me. It was my first job, and music hall then just carried on. I mean, every 2 weeks we were doing the bills. I didn't do all of them, obviously, but for Geoffrey Braun and Doreen Hermitage, we used to do a few of the bills. And then when it closed, it was so sad, and we just wanted to keep it going. And we are now back about 4 times a year at the Charing Cross Theatre under the arches, and using these amazing, talented people, and people like Sheila Burnett. She is still doing it. She was going to do today, but she's got a bad knee. But, you know, they are still there, and you do learn so much from them, as we were saying, and it would have just been so sad for it all to end, and there was no way I could let that happen, because it meant so much to me as a performer coming out of college. And it means, and people like Jane, who I know has got, you know, there is a style to musical, and there are people out there who've got this style that should be exploited in musical, really, and hopefully will carry on. And also I'm trying to get younger people to come and watch as well, because it needs to live on, and that's what I'm trying to do.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Thank you.